different.
Yeah.
As far as school starting, is that when does your schools go back to classrooms?
They are a lot of people are opting for
Homeschool?
getting homeschooling,
Right.
and but my wife, she works on Orange County public schools, and she was telling me the other day that those that they are in homeschool, they want to come back to schools. Is getting, I guess, a little bit frustrated for parents staying home with their kids, trying to teach them all the material that they are sending to them. And people is getting different jobs. Uh, guys that they was used to be working in Disney, now they are working for Amazon or delivery companies and all that stuff. So I've been seeing restaurants open it up again. They just allow them to serve alcohol again since last week, and let's see what happens next week. Every time that they open 100%, it comes a little bit of wave on the COVID cases, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay,
But other than that, I mean, I keep doing my diligences in the shop, continue spraying cars, office, I mean, keeping the distance, everybody with mask, I mean, the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm.
all right. So I was hoping we get some more attendees coming in because we had a lot registered, but we're at 7:06 now. So I'm going to introduce Kim Walker. She's from Sharp Marketing Pros. She knows our side of the business. She's been a shop owner, and we're going to be talking about our marketing goals. So Kim, I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can do a little bio if you want, or whatever, and kick it off. And I'm sure we're going to get more people coming in as we go.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining me on this Wednesday night. I know you're an hour ahead of me, and I did just check. The debate comes on at 8 p.m. Central. So if you are interested in that, I promise I'll have you off in time. But without taking up too much time, because I know you're not here to hear my story, but I will try to tell you as briefly as I can. I'm really bad at that. I'm a storyteller, and my husband can teach a 2-hour class in 30 minutes, and it takes me 4 hours. So I'm going to try to keep this really, really brief. So we are from Louisiana, so we're sort of neighbors, right? Florida, Louisiana. We actually love the 30A area over there on the Panhandle. Grayton Beach is probably our favorite place to be. We actually traveled in our new RV this summer for 10 weeks. We worked from the road, and after going through Mississippi, which we just drove through, right? So Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, Colorado for a month. We came down through Texas. We went through all of that. And when we got home, we were pretty sure that Grayton Beach is still way up there. So we might be Florida residents one day, who knows? But having said that, my husband is by trade a Mercedes-Benz diagnostic tech. And my background is in teaching and education. I have an undergraduate as an elementary teacher, and my master's is in counseling, but I'm teaching, and I hate to tell you this, but when we work with our customers, I'm counseling too. So I'm using my background, right? I remember being a shop owner, I needed counseling sometimes. So when my husband left the dealership and opened his own shop, he outgrew that in about a year and asked me to leave my career and join him in the shop doing marketing. And when I tell you this next thing, you're going to say, okay, so why am I listening to her? Because when he asked me to join him in the business, I said, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what marketing is. and you're like, whoa, what are you, now you're teaching me about marketing. So I taught myself, and we did very, very well. We grew our business quite dramatically, got all kinds of awards, super involved in our community. And to cut this super short, we were the demise of two things: a road construction project that came in and practically wiped us out. We lost $15,000 a week in our regular revenue. And that lasted from October of one year until May, when we finally said, okay, we can't keep going. We were young and dumb, and now we know that we should have downsized, but we let our hearts do the talking and making decisions more than our wallets and business sense. And we kept all of our staff on board, all of our technicians. We paid everybody, even though we didn't have the work to support it. And so eventually, you know, that doesn't last, can't last forever. So, so we closed that, and people started asking us to do their marketing for them, and just different businesses in our community. So it wasn't necessarily just shops, but they saw that we really knew, and so they'd reach out and say, hey, will you do this or will you do that? And so that evolved over the years into we own Five Stones Media, which is kind of our mother company we've had for almost 10 years. And we had a business partner that, even though we tried to get him involved and interested in working in the automotive industry, he just didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so when we bought him out about 5 years ago, it just opened the door for us to get re-engaged in the industry. And so we launched Shop Marketing Pros actually at Vision. So in 2018, and we did all of the rebranding for MWACA, which used to be ASA Midwest, and real close with Sherry, and did a lot of work for them. So we, that's kind of that's the shortest story I can tell you, because it's really multiple books, maybe a series of books. That's our story. But yeah, so we had Peak Automotive in North Carolina, and lived there for 10 years. And after we closed our shop, we moved back home here to Louisiana, and have been back home for about 11 years. So enough of that. I want to jump in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that, okay, well, Mary, can you give me the rights to share the screen? I'm assuming that you have that capability.
I mean, need to wake her up.
Might need to. Gary, do you have those? Are you a co-host?
I don't have that. No. Mary, are you there?
Yeah, she just unmuted herself.
Yes. I just gave it to you, Kim. You should,
Okay.
you should be able to.
There we go. I got it.
Sorry to wake you up, Mary.
All right, let me move some things around here. And I will, I'll be checking the chat. So if y'all have questions, oh, I clicked the wrong thing. If y'all have questions, just put your questions there in the chat, and I'll take a peek at that every so often. But again, I know some people really want to watch the debate, so I'm not going to take forever, but I do want to share with you. I'm super excited to have put this class together. So thank you, Mary. This is a brand new class. You guys are hearing it for the first time. But wind, is that what you say? Wind has gotten out, word has gotten out. And so there's some other folks that want me to teach this. So you're the first ones to hear it. But I really did some research and thought about what we do for our customers and how we look at working with them on their marketing goals and what they want to accomplish. And so I really want to help you really look at the big picture here. So as I continue, you're probably going to hear me say that a lot, because oftentimes we get so hyper focused on the here and now and what's going on just right at this moment that we forget to look at the whole picture. And so that's what this class is really about, especially here we are in October, the perfect time. I can't tell you how many times I teach classes like this for Five Stones and for local small businesses, and it's January. I'm like, you really should have been thinking about this back in October. So kudos, this is the perfect time. It gives you a good 2.5 months to really look at what do you want to accomplish in 2021 and how do you plan for that? So we're going to kind of look at the whole picture and then do some reverse engineering and back up so that you can take it from the big picture down to small bite-sized chunks of tasks that you can do to accomplish your goals. So with that, let's jump right in. I do want to say thank you very much to ASA Florida, Mary, Gary. Thank y'all for planning this and inviting me to speak to your group. And I do want to let y'all know, by the way, before I keep going, that I'm going to send you an email with a link to a resources page that my team will build out that will have this recording in it, so you can listen to it again later on if you want. It will also have these slides. So if you want to just sit back and relax and listen, you can. If you want to take notes, feel free, but you will get the recording and these class slides, as well as some other things that I'm going to show you as we continue. So the first step in looking at your marketing goals for the next year is to first think about what are your business goals. And I'm not even going to lie here. I'm not even going to pretend, but the first few years when we had our shop, we didn't do any of this. I mean, everything was off the cuff. It was an afterthought. It was, oh, we should do this today. And oh, let's do that. And it wasn't until Brian asked me to join him in the business that I started really researching and digging in and taught myself what marketing is really all about and how you do that. And so in order for you to truly do a good job with your marketing for the year and plan things out, you really need to look at what are your goals for your actual business. Are you looking to bring in more revenue? Is it new, maybe you're good with how things are, but you need new customers, or you just really want to get your existing customers back in more frequently. Increasing web traffic or adding followers to your social media. So you want to ensure that your marketing plan aligns with your overall business goals. And I'll talk to you about how to figure that out as we continue. It's really important to, that it's the law of inertia, right? Where I always think of a cruise ship, right? If you've ever taken a cruise and you're on there when they're getting ready to depart, it takes a lot to get that big, huge ship moving. But once it's moving, things are going well. And that's the same thing with your marketing goals. It may take you some time to sit down and to get that thing going, but just put it on your calendar, carve out some time, get in your office, get in some room, shut the door, turn your phone off, literally put it face down, and get yourself in a focused environment so that you can start thinking and reflecting on this year, which we all know is, an awkward, crazy year, but it is what it is, and it's what you've got. So in order to do better next year, you need to look at where you are today and this year. So this is just the first step. Choose your goal, stick to it. Just getting that done, just getting your goal created. And you may have multiple. Some people have several different goals. You can have a big goal for the whole year, but then different goals for different quarters of the year. The first quarter, you can look at, maybe you want to focus on this particular message, but then in the second quarter of the year, you want to change it up so that this is not, look, I call it a buffet. If you don't like the broccoli, don't eat the broccoli. Find what's going to work for you and for your shop. Everybody's shop is different, and your marketing goals will be different, just like the strategies and the tactics. You might not want to use Facebook. You might not want to use social media at all. You might want to focus your efforts in a different area. That's okay. Everybody's plan is going to be different. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and everybody, I'm sure I can't see you right now because I moved it, but I bet if everybody's faces were on the screen, there were probably some eye rolls because some of these things that I'm going to talk to you about are old school, but they're important. We do this on an annual basis. Our whole team, we talk about the strengths of our business, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. And if you have a coach or if you're in a mentoring program, I am guessing that you probably have talked about this. So you're going to really want to carve out some time to reflect and to really look at where you've been before you decide where it is that you want to go. So what are the advantages that you have in your business? What's unique about your particular shop? Do you have any particular selling points? When we had our shop, and this is more like how I like to do my bio, if you will, is just talk about things as we go throughout. When we had our shop, I remember when our marketing really took off, it was when I got right an understanding of who we were and who our actual customer was. And when I say I was a counselor, some of the counseling sometimes comes in when I'm trying to work with a shop and get them to understand that your marketing, even though you might work on anybody's car that comes up, or you might work on a variety of types of people's vehicles. The thing is, your marketing, for the most part, should target a specific audience. And for us, I remember the day I was sitting in my office and I heard our service advisor talking to this customer that came in. And of course, our service advisors were trained because that's marketing. That's what I did. And I needed to know where people were coming from. They asked, and I hope that you're doing this, but they asked every single customer, how'd you hear about us? What brought you in today? And so he was talking to this lady and she literally said the following things. She worked in a big building just down the street from where we were. It was a big medical office. And she said, my mom told me that you're great with women. And the ladies in my office said that I shouldn't bring my car anywhere else because you were great with women. And then she said, and I heard it and my ears perked up and I was like, oh my gosh, that's our new slogan. So we were in the Raleigh, Durham kind of area of North Carolina. They call it the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. We were actually in Apex, North Carolina. And so it's kind of really close to all those cities. And she said, I heard you're the most female-friendly shop in the Triangle. Now, let me tell you, this was in like 2000, let's see, 2000, it was like 2004. So this was before the big, huge influx of female-friendly was a big, big, big thing. So when I heard her say that, I was like, oh my gosh. And we had a beautiful lobby with like a living room in there and Starbucks coffee, and I even had a massage chair. I had this little, it was like a closet, and we took the door down and we hung a curtain and made it like a private, real quiet, quaint little area. And I put a massage chair in there. Some of y'all might be thinking we're crazy, but we serviced Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, Porsche, and we wanted our customers that drove those high-end cars when they came in for the environment to match what they were expecting. It was a beautiful area. It was just a great shop. We really went over and above, and people loved us for that. And so when she said that, within minutes, I started changing all of our marketing. Everything went, our brand colors were black, white, and silver. Suddenly it had pink in it. And I started promoting that I didn't need to win a contest. She said it, so I started saying it. The Triangle's most female-friendly shop. So when you look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the selling points, that was our selling point. That is what we became known as. And sometimes you need to speak things out for them to become part of your daily world. Like, speak it into fruition. And so we started speaking and selling ourselves as the Triangle's most female-friendly shop. It was on our business cards. It was on our brochures. At the time, if there was such a thing as Facebook or Google ads, I promise you we would have been focusing on that. And we would have been targeting women in our ads, our digital online ads. So that was a selling point. What is your selling point? What is special about your shop and separates you from the rest? Do you have any particular skills? Any other factors that would be considered a strength? Opportunities. These are these are parts of your business that you can improve on. So it may be a weakness that you can really build on and do something different with that. Weaknesses, that's pretty self-explanatory. What is a problem? What needs to be strengthened? And then threats. So are there competitors down the street? Is there, in fact, I'm going to exit out of this and go ahead and show you. We have this, which I will give you this. I'm going to give you a link to this on the resources page so that you can literally print this out and use it yourself. But here's some examples. I was on the threats. So it could be a new shop that's opening right down the street. Maybe you think your service advisor is getting ready to leave. Your techs are unhappy. Maybe the morale in your business is low. These are things that are going to threaten the success of your business. So you need to know what these are before you move forward into the next year. And then examples there for strengths, you have great techs, they're educated, they're reliable, you have a solid customer base, you're in a great location, you're highly recognized, people know that you're there. Weaknesses might be that you need more techs, or that you have a lot of comebacks, or your parts vendor is unreliable and they don't show up on time, or whatever it might be. Some opportunities could be that you need to move to a new location, or you are moving to a new location, or you've got a new service advisor, or whatever it might be. So you want to build out those sections, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, because that could guide you in what your goals are for your business for the next year, but it could also then turn around and guide you in your marketing plan. So back here to this, move on to the next one. So once you've really kind of written down, and I mean take paper and pencil, put the pen to the paper and write out those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Look at it, digest it, and really think about those moving forward so that you can start thinking about what you want your goals to be for 2021. When you start writing out your goals, and this is one of the other things that I know you've heard of, SMART goals. This is not new. Kim Walker did not create this. I'm not going to pretend that I created it. This is old school, goes way back. Your goals need to be SMART goals, specific, something that you can actually measure. It's a goal that is attainable. You can adjust it if you need to. You can achieve it. You want it to be a little outside of your comfort zone. Don't make it so easy that you're going to reach that goal really quickly, but something that you need to actually work for. And then the R stands for relevant, realistic, results driven, and then timely, that it's actually something that you can measure within a certain period of time. So again, I'm going to jump over here and show you this worksheet. Again, I'm going to give this to you on our resources page. It'll be a PDF. You can just print it out and print multiple copies, tear it up, rip it apart, write all over it, adjust it, do whatever you want to do, print as many copies as you want. But here you can actually start writing out some of the parts of your goal, right? So for example, for specific goals, what is it that you actually want to do? You want to increase your annual revenue, right? How are you going to measure that? Well, I want to increase my annual revenue by $150,000. Is that attainable? What did you do last year? Does it make sense? You know, if you just started out, is $150,000 too big, too small? Is it just right? You know, so you want to make sure that it is something that's actually attainable. Is it going to be realistic for you and for your shop? So realistic, looking at that. Why does it matter? Why is it relevant? Why is that important for you and for your shop? So think about that. And then timely, when does this need to happen? Well, we're talking about annual goals. So we said we wanted to increase annual revenue by $150,000 by the end of 2021. So then you can pull it all together, and down at the bottom, you see that we wrote it all out. We will increase our annual revenue by $150,000 from new customers by the end of 2021. Then you can ask yourself, is it specific? You can check it off. Is it measurable? Is this actually attainable? Is it realistic? Does it relate to my shop? Does it matter? Why does it matter? And is it timely? So then you will have this worksheet, and you can, I've got examples there, and you can put together your SMART goals for your for your shop for 2021. So I'm going to take a quick minute here and, oh, hold on a minute. Well, I'll come back to that. So here are some examples. We already talked about one. Some of these are super specific, but again, remember that your shop is not like the next door shop, the shop down the road. Everybody's goals are going to be different. We all have different, we're in different locations. We have different customers. We service different types of vehicles. We're at different stages. Your shop is at a different stage. You might have been in business for 20 years where someone else might have only been in business for 3 years. So don't be afraid or think that your goals need to match someone else's. So a couple of examples. We need 10,000, and these are just numbers I just threw out there, right? So you're going to need to put your numbers in these spaces. We need 10,000 new website visitors, which will turn into 250 leads, 41 new customers each month for 12 months from our inbound marketing. So inbound marketing is all of the things that you're doing to attract new customers. The second example is the one that we just used, to increase annual revenue by $150,000 from new customers because of our digital ads. So Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, whatever it might be, YouTube. The third example is ranking in that #1 spot. So I live in Hammond, Louisiana, so that's why it says Hammond. So replace Hammond with the name of your city. We want to rank #1 for the keywords Hammond Auto Repair by the end of 2021. So it's just 3 examples that I have for you there just to kind of help you get started. So your first steps are going to be to look at your overall business goals, to do a SWOT analysis, and to create SMART goals. So there are some examples for you right there. And seriously, y'all, if you really want to do this, if I were you, I'm saying that, I don't know your shop. I don't know if you're the sole person in your shop or if you have 10 people on your team or whatever it might be. But literally put on your calendar, block out 30 minutes or an hour or whatever you're able to do. Put it on your calendar and put busy, do not disturb, annual marketing plans or something like that, so that you can literally find a quiet spot, shut the door. If you have to get away from the shop, go to a coffee shop and sit down, put headphones in, and pull out your computer, your paper, and your pencil and start writing this stuff out. Just remember, get that cruise ship going. Just get started and it will start flowing for you. All right, here are 3 questions that you need to answer. In order for you to really start defining your marketing goals for the next year, you need to know some KPIs, some marketing KPIs. KPIs, in case you don't have a coach who's breathing down your neck and encouraging you and pushing you to know all your numbers, these are key performance indicators. So these, and when it comes to marketing, right? So in your shop, we're talking about typical KPIs would be your car count and how many tickets well, that's the same thing. And so there's all kinds of numbers that you need to know for your shop. I'm talking to you about your marketing KPIs. How many people visit your website each month? Somebody in this class just went, I have no idea. I'm going to note to add this to my resources page. The way that you know that, if you don't already know, is through Google Analytics. Google Analytics is free. And when you go to Google Analytics, it's basically tracking all of the data on your website, all the visitors on your website, and it's giving you an incredible, I could teach a whole class just on Google Analytics, but it's going to tell you how many people are visiting your website, how many people are visiting your website and immediately leaving your website. That's the bounce rate. If you have a bounce rate that's incredibly high, guess what that's telling you? People are coming to your website and they're not finding what they thought they were going to find. And so they're clicking off. When people come to your website, you don't want them to leave your website. You want them to stay. So it's also going to tell you what the average amount of time is that people are on your website when they come. And are they going from this page to that page to that page? What's the path that they're taking? So there's an enormous amount of information that you get from Google Analytics, which is a free tool. So marketing KPIs, website visitors, social reach. How many people is your Facebook page reaching? How many people are engaging? What's the engagement rate? When I say engagement, I'm not talking about getting married. I'm talking about liking your post, commenting on your post, sharing your post, clicking the call to action button on your cover image, sending you a message, writing a review. They're engaging with your page. How many people are following your page? So those are KPIs in marketing specifically related to social media, but you have email marketing KPIs. What's the size of the list that you have on your email marketing list? How many people are opening your emails, clicking through your emails? There's also bounce rates with regard to email and how many people are marking you as spam. There's an enormous amount of numbers that you have at your disposal if you're doing this type of marketing. Google Ads, what's the cost? What's the click-through rate? What's the impressions, the number of people that are seeing your Google Ads? Where do you rank? Where do you rank on Google for certain terms? Do you even know the terms that people are searching in order to find your shop on Google? And then who is your audience? Who are you targeting? So that's actually something I'm going to put on our resources page for you too. So if you're someone that just came in, you hear me talking about a resources page, I'm going to send you a link after this class that has the recording, it has these slides and a bunch of resources that I feel like you may need. One of them, when we're talking about who are you targeting and who is your customer, is a worksheet called the customer avatar. So it literally helps you kind of pinpoint in your mind almost a picture of the exact customer you want. And so even though, like I was saying earlier, that you may work on a variety of different cars and different types of people, whether it's the soccer mom or the professional or the traveler or whatever it might be, when you put your money into the marketing, you want to really focus your marketing on a particular type of customer, because if not, you're just kind of shooting in the dark all over the place. We want to focus right here on this one type of customer. And it's like, if you can get them, you're going to get the others as well. So you really need to know who it is that you're targeting. So on that resources page, I'm going to put a link to the customer avatar workshop that will help you kind of sit down and figure out, kind of get a good picture of who you're targeting. What's your budget going to be? Oh my goodness. So that could probably be a whole nother class by itself too, is just how do I know what my budget should be? Because you can do research and Google and find out this huge range that it should be 5% of your annual revenue up to 15% of your annual revenue. I don't know about you, but when we had our shop, there was no way that I was spending 15% of our annual revenue on marketing. We just couldn't do it. It was just not possible. And so there are people that will also say, well, if you're a startup, you need to spend this much. If you're just maintaining, you need to spend this much. If you're trying to be aggressive with your growth, then you need to spend this much. So there's all kinds of reasons to have different budgets. Everybody's budget is not going to be the same, but you do need to figure out, what is it that I want to spend? And you need to figure that out based on facts. How much money are you bringing in? What is your revenue? And then you can break that down. And because I did this was the way that I was able to say no. When we had our shop, people would walk in the front door and sit down, and they were from, let's say, the Yellow Pages, right? Remember, this was like 12 years ago. Or they'd walk in and they're from the local magazine or the local newspaper, or they have the next best awesome marketing widget, whatever it was. And I found myself getting caught up in it. And we'd sign up right there. We're like, oh, it's just $300. And I'd just write the check, fill out the contract, give them what they needed, and move on. The thing is, I never knew that it was working. I never used that ad strategically in my marketing plan, or it wasn't attached to the goals I had for that quarter or that year. It was just something I quickly did because they walked in the door. Once I really started doing marketing in a very strategic, smart way, then I was able to say, hey, your widget looks really awesome and I appreciate you stopping in here, but I've already defined what I'm doing with my marketing, and that's not in my budget and that's not in my plan. And they couldn't really argue back with me with that. So it gave me, doing all of this gave me the words to be able to say no to people, and really just turn down some of those awesome marketing tactics that people would walk in the door with. Look at how much you spent this year. Your CPA, your bookkeeper should be able to help you really pull all of that out as you're entering things into QuickBooks or whatever it might be that you're using. You're obviously categorizing all the things that you're spending. So at the end of the year, you should be able to very easily say, this is how much I spent this year on your marketing for the year. So you really need to get a budget together, and you really need to know your numbers. So I'm probably losing people. I'm probably scaring people already, because you're like, when am I supposed to do all this? Remember, I told you to schedule a time, put it on your calendar every Monday at 10 a.m., every other Monday at 10 a.m. If you can only do it one time a month, that's fine too. What's going to work for you and your schedule? Here's what I'm going to tell you. The more often you meet with yourself about your marketing for 2021, the shorter that meeting can be. So if you're going to meet with yourself, put it on the calendar, shut the door, go to the coffee shop. Maybe you're just going to work solid for 30 minutes on this every Monday at 10 a.m. But if you're going to do it once a month, then it might be an hour. So are you following me? Does that make sense? Let me take a peek here and see if there's any questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question if you can take it.
Let's try it.
All right, this is Gary. So I know most of the target now is social media, Google, stuff like that. Is there still a market for direct mail marketing? And I get in a lot of different, and I've tried a lot of direct mail in the past, but it seems like the direct mail companies are changing their names, trying to reinvent the market. What's your thought on direct mail?
Yeah, I love that question. And, the funny thing about that is we've just had that conversation here internally. We don't do a lot of direct mail, but that's not because we don't believe in it. What we do believe in is doing it the right way. And we've just done a couple of direct mail pieces for a couple of our shops, and they have seen good results with it. So I think that it really comes back to what's on it. Is it too busy? Is it overwhelming to people? Is it catching their attention? It is really being strategic about that direct mail piece. And I'm not trying to answer it real broadly, but I definitely think that direct mail is still, okay, let me say this. Right now at this very moment, I'd be very careful about the direct mail that I'm sending out, because why? What's happening right now in direct mail?
Well, there's no more mailboxes. They took them all out.
I don't know what that, I don't know what that, I don't know. I can't speak about that.
Okay.
I see
Well,
mailboxes everywhere. What I'm saying is it's political season. So
yeah,
there's an enormous amount of political mailers coming out.
right. There's a lot of fluff in the mail. Yeah, exactly.
So is thinking about, again, I said I was going to talk about the whole picture, is looking at the whole picture. Is now a good time? And if, one of our shops, not maybe 2 months ago, we sent a direct mail piece out for them, because poor things, they just opened their doors in the middle of COVID. I think March 6th or April 6th was their first day. So, they had to really, we did some old school marketing with them. We're doing some modern marketing with them, kind of hitting all the spots, if you will. And so for theirs, we focused on a really simple message And so I think that it really depends on what you're putting on there and how you're capturing people's attention. Don't be afraid to do something different. Every single direct mail piece from shops, they don't have to look the same. Don't be afraid to put your personality on there and really do something different that's going to capture attention. But then also when I say be strategic about what you're putting on there, is I don't know about you. I'm only using myself as an example. But if the only call to action on that direct mail piece was to call, I'm probably just not going to do it. Like, I need something else. And my graphic designer and my own husband will probably kill me for telling you this. But I have seen, and before anybody else rolls their eyes and clicks away when I say this, here's my disclaimer. Wait and let me finish. But 2020 has brought the QR code back, right? When the QR code first came out, people loved it, and then it was a joke, and then nobody wanted to use it again, but a couple of things have happened. One, every new phone, you don't have to download a QR code scanner anymore. You used to have to download an app. You don't have to do that anymore. Your camera on your phone scans the QR code and automatically opens up whatever it is that is linked to that QR code. So that QR code could take them directly to the schedule an appointment page on your website. It could take them directly to sending you an email. So there's different things that you can do. It might take them directly to a video that you put together and it's on YouTube where you're introducing your shop to this new person. So again, all of your marketing should be integrated. It should all be working together. I definitely think there is a place for direct mail. I don't think it's dead. I think it can definitely be done. You want to really think about it.
Let me just, I did a lot of direct mail back in the days since the late 80s up until recently. Most of it we did in-house. Now, most of the direct mail people, because they guarantee results, they want to do a 1995 oil change. They all want to do a 1995 oil change because you're going to get a ton of results from that. But that's not the type of marketing that I do. So what are your thoughts on that type of marketing? And if you're doing direct mail, is there any way to avoid that bait and switch?
So you're talking about like the traditional, like come in for an oil change thing?
Well, I'm talking about all the big, like I said, they keep changing their names, and I don't want to mention any names here, but there's two major direct mail companies that, and whenever you talk to them, they want to advertise. Whenever you want to send a direct mail mass marketing, they all tell you got to do this oil change special for $19.95. Otherwise, you're not going to get results. So it's just not the type of marketing that I do. Is there any way that you see direct mail marketing without targeting the bottom end of the market?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of what I keep coming back to with regard to every shop is different. We for when we had our shop, Peak Automotive, we focused on Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Porsche, BMW. We did the whole couponing thing up front in the beginning, and there's this big stigma in the industry. Don't use coupons. Don't do that. Don't offer this. Don't offer that. It works for some. It did not work for us because we were sending the wrong message. We were sending a message to people that wanted quality work, and they didn't care about getting a coupon. They just wanted to know that it was going to be fixed the first time. I don't have time for a comeback. I want to come so our messaging to them was more focused on trained quality technicians, certified technicians. We have the right tools and equipment. Our customers, for us, again, this is just for us, they loved knowing about all the great tools and equipment they had. They wanted to know that we were working on their vehicle with the STAR diagnosis scan tool and this, and Like it, you have to, that's why coming back to that customer avatar worksheet that I talked about is really going to matter. You have to know your audience. And I'm also going to talk to y'all briefly about a book called, and I don't know if my screen, I know my screen is up, but I don't know if you can see me, if you can see my camera. This book, Building a Story Brand. This is all about developing your messaging, knowing your customer, knowing what their problems are, so that when you design the content and the imagery that's going to go on a direct mail piece or a Facebook ad or an Instagram post or whatever it might be, the images and the words on your website, your email marketing, all of it, is that you are presenting yourself as the guide who's going to come in and solve the problem of your customers. So if your customers are the ones who, and we have customers who, their customers aren't driving BMW and Mercedes, they're driving old beat up, 15-year-old vehicles, and they are looking for coupons. So what's your customer looking for? So again, know your customer and know what they're looking for. So I think, we're not, even though we're more of a modern kind of marketing company, we don't do a lot of the traditional kind of stuff. We're not doing magazines and newspapers, and we don't do a lot of direct mail, but when the time is right, we do. And we suggest it and we offer it and we do that for them. But we're not using, and I'm not speaking negatively about anybody that does this, but we're custom designing that mail piece. We're not picking from a library of a whole bunch of different ones that everybody else is using. We're creating it designed specifically for that particular shop to answer the problems that their customers are facing. So kind of coming back to this, answer these questions for yourself. Know what your budget is, know how much you spent this year, and know your numbers when it comes to marketing. You can't create a goal that says, hey, in order for me, we talked about a backwards engineering. In order for me to get 40 new customers a month from digital ads, my ad needs to be shown to this many people. Like, you need to know how many people you want to get in there. Even if you're just like educationally picking a number, you're using your current numbers to pick a new number so that you have a goal. We know that not every single person that comes to your website is going to convert and fill out that appointment form and then schedule that appointment and become a customer. So you want your numbers to, when I was showing you that example a minute ago, that I want however many number of people to visit my website, and from that I wanted 450 people to fill out the form, and then I'm going to convert that into maybe 40 people that actually walk in the door. So you need to be able to start somewhere. So knowing your numbers is super important. The next thing you're going to do, so all that is where you're probably going to spend a lot of time, just getting things together, brainstorming, thinking, looking at the whole picture, and you need to develop an action plan. How are you going to accomplish your goal? I would break it into quarterly actions. So look at what your whole goal is. So if it's, I want to increase my revenue by $150,000 for the next year, if you take that 150,000 and you divide it, because you have 4 quarters, then you know that you'll know the number that you're looking for when you break that into quarters. What tactics are you going to use in order to accomplish that goal each quarter? So are you going to focus on social media, digital ads, direct mail? I got traditional marketing in there. So it could be that you want to focus, maybe the first quarter of the year, you want to send a direct mail piece out to the people within 5 miles of your shop, focused on introducing yourself to them or telling them some special thing. Maybe you've got something new coming for 2021. One thing that we did for another shop was targeting specific neighborhoods with direct mail. So coming back to the gentleman that had the direct mail question, didn't spend an enormous amount of money. We just focused in one neighborhood at a time. So maybe part of your goal is to say, in Q1, I want to focus on this area of town. Q2, I want to focus on that, so on and so forth. Um, so SEO, email marketing, what you're doing in your community, that's all part of your marketing as well. So are you doing something cool in your community? I just saw a friend of mine here in our local town. They posted in this private group that I'm in, and where this shop was, right next door to them is a chiropractor. Right next to the chiropractor is a smoothie shop. And then, ironically, right next to them is a marketing company. And all four of those businesses went in together. And on Saturday, I think it's October 24th, they're having a trunk or treat. And so, in this shared parking lot that they have, they're inviting the community to come out for a trunk or treat. And what's cool with them is that it's COVID, right? So we've got this whole virus situation going on, and parents are scared of trick or treating, but they know and trust these people. So they're coming to this one trunk or treat event, and they're going to have a jump house, and they're going to have some different things so that families can come out to a place where they trust and they know people. And so you may consider something you might do in your own community, right? We're kind of in this back to school time. Is there a teen clinic that you can put on? Maybe you can host a Chamber of Commerce business after hours event. We also have a breakfast thing that our chamber does. So maybe look at how your whole marketing plan would include different parts of your marketing. What have you been doing? What's working? Keep doing that. Is there something you've been doing with your marketing that has not been working? If it hasn't been working, kill it. Stop doing it. Don't use it. Don't use it. It's okay to let things go. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Keep going. Do the things that are working. It's a whole stop start thing. Keep doing what you're doing. Stop doing what's not working and start doing something new and different and see how that works for you. But think about all the tactics that can be used. I'm going to show you, again, I will give you this. Is that the one? Yep, this is the one. So I'll have this as a PDF for you on that resources page. So you can print this out. Of course, you know, it's got our logo. You can take that off, recreate this just to give you an idea of, I don't know how you are, but for me, sometimes if I just start writing things out, things will start flowing better. So I think about what the goal is, what's the timeline on this particular project, what's the core messaging that I want to get out. For us at Peak Automotive, it was that we are highly qualified. We have advanced tools and technology to do the diagnostics and fix the problem. And we're female friendly. That was our three main messages that we were putting out. And then down here, if you have any graphic design needs that you need to work on, or maybe you need to get someone to design something, you can list it out. You can select which of the kind of tactics that you want to use to accomplish these goals. Are you going to utilize a blog? You're going to do additional SEO or use an email marketing? What are you using, right? Are you using Facebook and LinkedIn? Are you going to use, I'm sorry, that says Pinterest. I meant to change that to YouTube. Then you can kind of just list out some ideas. Just throw some ideas. Look, I've got direct mail campaign right here, possible direct mail campaign. I'm going to need to write the content. I'm going to need it designed. I'm going to need to place the order. So get your plan written out. Write out your ideas. Look at the whole month. You could even, you know, like I think we do this on this one. Not on that one. I'll come back to that one. But we often will literally just write out the months of the year, or you can pull out right here on my desk. I have an actual printed out monthly calendar, and I'll look at it and say, for example, we know that April is spring car care month. October is fall car care month. I know that in the summer, people are taking vacations and road trips. So maybe in April and May, I want to focus on helping people ensure that their cars are ready for their summer trips. And January and September, I think, Gary, you were talking about there being a dip when school starts back up. We had the same exact thing. And so when you know what your slow time is, in fact, I'm gonna put this on the resources page too. We wrote a blog about what to do in slow times. So I'm gonna link to that for you. But you know, when you know that it's a slow time, what are you going to do about it? Like, don't just accept it and say, oh, we're slow every year at this time. No, do something. You've got a whole year to plan for that. I will tell you that for our shop, October was our slowest month every single year. And when I tell you what caused it, some of y'all are going to be like, what? The North Carolina State Fair knocked us off the charts in a bad way every single October because the state fair was only about 5 miles away. It was 2 solid weeks long. And so what we started doing, we finally realized, you know, the first week we're like, first year we were like, what? Why is it slow? Why are we slow in October? The second year we were like, you know, I think we were slow last October. We went and looked back at our numbers. Sure enough, so when we realized there was a trend, then we were like, okay, what are we going to do about it? And so from that point forward, every year we put together an entire campaign specifically around the state fair. Instead of blaming the state fair, we started using the state fair to work with us. And what we actually did, and this surprised me, but you know, sometimes you just got to try something and see if it's going to work. But what we did was we had it, and it's been many years, y'all, so I probably don't remember all of it, but we had like a tiered approach. So if you scheduled your appointment, no matter what, if you wanted to go to the state fair, you could drop your car off with us. We would then shuttle you to the state fair. So we promoted, you don't have to find parking. You don't have to pay for parking. Come drop your car off with us. Let us do what you need. I don't care if it was just an oil change. And then we're going to bring you to the state fair, let you play, do all the things you need to do for the day. We'll come back and pick you up, bring you back to the shop that afternoon, that evening, get your car back to you. And then we also, depending on how much they were spending or were planning to spend, we would give them tickets to the state fair. So we'd shuttle you to the state fair, and then we gave you a certain number of tickets for rides and that sort of thing. So, you know, don't be afraid to look at your year right now and say, okay, I know that every September is slow because of back to school. Turn it around and make that, right? We talked about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's a threat to your business in September. So what can you do with that threat to turn it around and make that a positive? So I will share this document with you as well, so that once you've defined what your goal is, you can then transfer it over and start making an actual plan of action for what you're going to do for your marketing. All right, so moving on. And then once you've created your action plan, it's important to educate your team. Get everyone on board. And I'm talking about everyone. When we had our shop, my brother detailed, I say detailed, he washed cars and vacuumed cars before the customer picked it up. He knew what our marketing was that we were doing. Our service advisors knew, all of our technicians knew, everybody on the team knew what we were working on, what our goal was, what we were trying to achieve. Some people were incentivized to help us achieve those goals. So you really want to be transparent and share with everyone. And for sure, oh my gosh, please make sure that your service advisors know, because the worst thing that can happen is you've got a direct mail piece going out, or you've got a promotion running on Facebook ads, or you sent an email out with whatever the thing was, and then people call and schedule an appointment and they mention what it is that they saw from your marketing piece, and your service advisor is clueless. So you must educate your team. Everybody needs to know what's going on, and let them know what their part is in it. If they don't have, if they're the technician and they have nothing to do with your marketing, first of all, that's a lie. Everybody is an extension of your business. Everybody is a part of the marketing. What are they saying about your shop when they're not at the shop? How are they representing your shop when they're not at the shop? And what I mean by that is, are they bad mouthing the shop and saying negative things? I know that you can't control what's happening out there, but you want everybody to understand that they are an extension of the marketing team. Everybody needs to know what's going on and what you're working on. Make it visible. So one of our clients is incredibly brilliant at this. They have it's like the break room at their shop, but it's also where they do training. It's where they store stuff. It's, you know how you have those rooms that just kind of are catch-alls. They have a whole bulletin board on the wall of that room that is like a calendar, and it shows kind of where they are in reaching their goal. So no matter who walks into that room, everybody's a part of it. And the transparency is incredible. Everybody feels a part of the team, and they're encouraging one another and helping the whole shop to become better and to reach those goals. So make it visible, make it so that everybody can see it. Even internally here in our, even though we're not a shop right now, but in our marketing company, once a month, we have a meeting where we actually share our numbers with our staff so that everybody sees what's going on. And we did the same thing when we had our shop. In the last couple of years, I think that was the advice of one of our trainers, but I say trainer, I mean coach, but in one of the classes that we took from them, they encouraged us to do that. And what it did for morale in our shop was incredible. And that was a benefit that we weren't even expecting to happen, but everybody just really felt like they were truly a part. And what we saw happen was people that weren't even really truly like on the marketing team, if you will, like they weren't the ones actually doing the marketing. They were out talking about the marketing that we were doing. Hey, we're doing this, or hey, did you know that we were doing that? And so it just let everyone know what was going on. It made a big difference. Okay. Implementing it, making it happen. So we talked about breaking your annual goal into quarterly goals. Then you can break your quarterly goals into monthly goals and create a weekly action plan. When we are scheduling social media for people, of course, we're a marketing company and that's what we do. I schedule it for the whole entire month. I sit down one time and get the whole month scheduled out. And you can do the same thing. There are tools that will help you to do that. You can plan your email campaign and get that scheduled and done. You don't have to sit down and do everything as an afterthought. Get it planned out. Put it on your calendar as you see here. You know, so maybe it's, you know, you're going to put on your calendar once a week and invite other people in your business. You might be surprised to find that one of your technicians really enjoys writing. And you can invite them to write a blog that's going to go on your website. That's a technical blog that your customers might really be interested in. So when we're talking about actually creating content, whether it's on social media or whether it's a blog or a video, I want to show you. And again, I know I showed you this book a minute ago. I don't know if my camera is still on the screen or if it's just the presentation, but just in case,
No, we have your camera.
Okay, good. So here's another book.
At least I have it.
If you do, well, I mean, people can move things around too. This book is called They Ask, You Answer. If you've taken a class of mine before, I usually talk about both of these books all the time. This one is by Marcus Sheridan. I will put these on the resources page. This book will change everything you think about marketing. This is all about inbound marketing, and it's very simple. Answer the questions that your customers have. And I'll give you examples of that, but really just listen to your customers asking, there are still people who don't know the difference between synthetic oil and conventional oil. Or do I need this kind of tire or that kind of tire? Is this wiper blade better than this wiper blade? So on and so forth. What is a cabin air filter and what does it do? If you listen to the questions your customers are asking, you will have content and therefore marketing forever. Imagine this. You start hearing customers asking, or maybe it's in the spring, and I know not everybody is in an area where allergies are terrible, but when we were in North Carolina, when the seasons would change, and down here in Louisiana, and probably just like y'all in Florida, we have 2 seasons, right? Do y'all know what they are? Hot and hotter. But in North Carolina, we had all 4 seasons. And so in the spring, people were having trouble breathing. They were sneezing and coughing and having itchy throats and all this. And we'd hear them talking about that. Well, people didn't realize that there's a cabin air filter in their vehicle that needed to be changed. And so if you listen to what your customers are talking about and what they're asking, then take your phone out. It doesn't have to be a professional video. We do have tips for how to do a good video yourself on the phone, but take your phone out, sit it, prop it up, and jump on that phone on the video and do a video answering that question. What is a cabin air filter and why do I need to replace it? Literally answer the question. From that one video, and it shouldn't be long. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out, you're not doing a movie. It's just a simple question. Answer the question. Then you put that video on YouTube. You upload the video natively into Facebook or Instagram, depending on how long it is. You put it on your website as a blog. You include that video in your email marketing. So now you've got integrated marketing going out that is presenting you as an expert in your field. It's sharing valuable, helpful information with your customers that they didn't know about. And they're going to want to call you because you're going to help them solve a problem that they have with sniffling, sneezing, the air in their vehicle. One time I know y'all have seen this, but I remember my husband pulling an air filter out, and when the customer saw it, they were freaked out to realize that that was supposed to be filtering the air in their car, and they were driving around with that. No wonder she was sniffling and sneezing and was sick all the time. So when you're talking about implementing your marketing plan and breaking your yearly goals into monthly goals and weekly action plans, if you're trying to maybe get those existing customers back in more frequently, listen to them and create content that answers their questions and solves their problems. Put it on your calendar, invite other people in your business to help write that blog, or you don't have to be the only spokesperson doing a video every single time. Allow people to see the other people in your business. Have deadlines. Do you have an accountability partner? That could be someone in your business. That could be a friend in business who owns a different business down the street that you just kind of check in with periodically to encourage each other and push each other along and make sure you're doing the things that you need to do. Do you have a mentor, a coach, an advisor? Is there someone that's going to come along and say, hey, what are you doing? Did you do what you said you were going to do? Why didn't you? Or they're going to say, good job that you did that. Nothing happens by accident. We have to be intentional about our marketing. Marketing fails when it is reactive, and meaning it's not proactive. You didn't sit down, plan it out. I know people who literally sit there and they say, oh crap, I haven't posted on Facebook in 4 days. What am I going to post today? And they just throw something out there, and then they're mad because Facebook doesn't work. No, you didn't work. That's what the problem was. And I'm sorry, that was pretty direct, but we have to be thoughtful and intentional about what we're doing with our marketing. Okay, so SWOT analysis, SMART goals, break them down into quarterly goals, break them down into monthly goals, and step back. Look at the whole picture. Look at the whole year. And when you look at the whole year, you can start breaking things down into bite-sized chunks, right? January is the first of the year. I remember that we did the whole New Year thing, right? Everybody wants to get skinny and eat healthy, and they want to get their finances straight. Some people want to make sure that they're getting on board with taking care of their investments. Well, their vehicle is one of those. So you may be able to put something out there in January to help people plan that out for the year. Let them know, hey, You should be doing this at this time. You should be doing this at this time. Plan ahead of time. So I also want to show you quickly one thing that we love to look at is this National Day calendar. And let me make a note to put that on the resources page for you. But we look at this every single month for ourselves, for our clients, for ridiculous things, and for serious things. So if you click on calendar at a glance, because not all of your specifically social needs to be informative, educate. Some of it needs to be fun and goofy and just have fun and relax and lay back and engage with people and make them laugh or, you know, inspire them. So if I scroll down, keep scrolling, there's ads on here and stuff, but if I scroll down to October and I click on October, this is going to tell me the days in October to celebrate. So it might be, in fact, I know today was National Frappe Day, National Coffee with a Cop Day. So you could have hosted you could have been the host of Coffee with a Cop at your local coffee shop. Invite the police officers over, pay for their coffee, and promote that you were sponsoring that just to do something for the community. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October 14th happens to be National Dessert Day. So I talked to a shop about putting out cookies and pastries and inviting people to come stop by for some desserts and that sort of thing. So there's all kinds of different days that you can do. Then there's weeks. It just so happens that, hold on, I'm looking at my notes here. The third week of October is National Business Women's Week. So if there's a woman business owner in your shop, maybe if your wife is involved in the shop, or if the actual owner of the shop is a woman or involved in the business in some way, you could focus on that for that particular week, the third week in October. And then October, like I said, is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know if any of you are participating in Breaks for Breasts. You could do that during the month of October. So this National Day calendar can help you when you are looking at your marketing plan for the year. So you can look at that and kind of pick what days work for you. And then,
Kim,
yes.
I got a question that came in. Maybe you can answer it from Orestes. He has a shop in Miami. His question is, we're currently in a highly diverse demographic and we have a substantial clientele that speaks primarily in Spanish. How would you recommend marketing in 2 different languages?
So I actually replied to them privately. I didn't know that would relate to multiple people.
Okay.
And what I actually, just being real, is that is a question I need to think about, because we haven't, I will tell you, it's a shop. I might be getting this shop mixed up with another shop, but I think it's literally called The Shop.
So this would apply to a lot of shops in Florida.
That's true. Yeah, no, that is a great. Well, what I replied to them and said was, let me think about it and actually talk it over with my team. And that's probably, hey, I'm using you as an example. They ask, you answer. You asked, I need to write a blog answering that question and then send it. So I actually asked him to private message me his email address. But what I'll do, because you're right, and that would apply in a whole variety of places. So I want to get back to my team and talk to them about that, because I know there are some different tools that that you can use in translation tools for whether it's transcribing a video, or there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. So let me come back to answer that question. And what I'll do is I will work with my team on writing a blog about that. Well, first, let me say this. I'll talk to them tomorrow, get some ideas and some answers, and I will send that either to Mary or to you, Gary, and y'all can distribute it to folks.
Send it to Mary.
Okay. So I'll
Mary's
do that, but then,
Mary does all the work, not me.
but then I will also take it a step further, and we'll actually answer that question in the form of a blog with some ideas, and get that out there. There's a shop that we built their website, and it's called The Shop, and I think it's SHOPPE, and they're in Fayetteville. Their audience is both Hispanics, but also military, because they're near
Okay.
not Fort Bragg. No, it is Fort Bragg in North Carolina, near
Okay.
Fayetteville. So they have that. So we've already been kind of going in that direction of helping someone with that. So I need to do some research, dig in, and write out a blog. But I'll get back to you on that. But
That
that's a
could
great question.
that could be huge in Florida because we have it's in different areas of Florida. We have a huge Hispanic population.
Yeah, definitely. That makes perfect sense. Yep, I love that. So
Thank
I will definitely get some ideas for you on
thank
that.
thank you.
About the National Day calendar, I'm going to include this on that resources page for y'all too. What I did was I personally went through every single day on that National Day calendar for the entire year, and I pulled out all of the national days that both, or I should say either, directly relates. Like I think there's a day in February called National Tool Day, but then also some that don't directly relate but could relate. So it could be National Ice Cream Day, and so like one shop took that, and they were near a park, and so they publicized, meet us at 12 o'clock on this day at this time in the park, and we have free popsicles or free ice cream sandwiches or whatever it was. So I've already pulled all those days out that I think either directly or could relate to an automotive repair shop. And with those days, I created sample social media posts, and we even created some graphics to go along with it that are free for shops to use. So I'll include that as well so people can look at it, because it may help you when you're looking at, again, the whole picture and planning out what you're going to do. And if planning the whole year is just too much, don't do it. Let's focus on one quarter at a time, 1 month at a time. Start small and get some success under your belt before you just give up. Like that's what could happen here, because we're talking about all of 2021. But if all you can do right now is Q1 or just January, then just focus on January. All right, wrapping up here, is you need to actually check in with yourself. Check your results. You need to, we have a tool that we use. So for our customers, we send out a report that is like a dashboard that has all of the information in one place. But if you're doing this yourself, you need to know, how am I going to know if I'm succeeding? How am I going to know? There's more to it than just the people walking in the door. That's obviously the end result. But if your goal is brand awareness for the first quarter, then you need to know your reach numbers on Facebook and how many people visited your website. So set yourself up for success by checking in to see how your progress is doing, and know how you're performing, so that if you need to make some adjustments, maybe January wasn't so good. Maybe you need to really bust your butt in February to make up for what you didn't accomplish in January. And maybe March is just off the charts and it's awesome and great, and that's gonna, put some extra in the bank, if you will, to help carry you over months that aren't so strong, because there's an ebb and flow to this. You're gonna have great months and you're gonna have not so great months. So just be cognizant of that. That's something you want to put on your calendar once a month. Let me check on my numbers. And I say once a month. I really would love to see people checking much more than that, maybe a few minutes each week, just doing a quick check. But if all you can do is a month, that's better than nothing. All right, reward yourself as you go, include your team in that, celebrate. We actually have a bell here in our office. I'm looking at it right now, but I will tell you that we learned by accident that you don't ring it real hard. You just barely have to touch it, and it's really loud. So anytime our JR Portman, if any of you know him, anytime he makes a sale or we launch a website or we get a big success on this project or that project, we'll ring the bell and everybody celebrates. We take our team out, we go out, we just went out for lunch this past Friday to a Mexican restaurant and enjoyed time together. There are times when bonuses are relevant. Maybe you plan a team outing. One time we just took everybody and went to like a not paintball. It's called Adventure Quest. I can't remember what it's a laser tag. We went and played laser tag as a team. Maybe rewarding your team with, asking them ahead of time, if we accomplish this goal, what would you like to see happen? And it might be that they want some new equipment. So that's just a tiny little list, but think about what's relevant to you and to your team. I remember with our service advisors one time, we had 3 service advisors and we were just starting to really do email marketing, and we had not been collecting email addresses. This was in like 2005. I think so. So it might have been 2003, 2004. But anyway, so we really needed them. And the problem was that our service advisors were so into their process and their flow of doing things that it was hard to change their process of how they were doing things. They were forgetting to ask for the email addresses. So we asked each of them, look, for this month, we're going to have a contest. Which of you 3 can collect the most email addresses from our customers? And instead of saying the winner is going to get this thing, we asked each one of them what would be important to them. One of them, his wife had just had a baby, so all he wanted was a paid day off with his family. One guy, he's a young guy, all he wanted was a case of beer. And the other guy, I guess he didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to go out to lunch with the team. So the thing is that we found what would matter to them, because this guy who just wanted to go out to lunch with the team, he wasn't going to work for increasing the email list if his reward was a case of beer he didn't drink. So we had to really cater the rewards to those who were bought in to doing whatever the thing was. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. All right. You're going to have bumps in the road. I love that Dory says, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I actually say that in my head sometimes when things just get tough. Be better today than you were yesterday. My son is 17. He just joined the Army National Guard, and he's in his senior year of high school, and he just had a little issue, and he just couldn't get past it. And I said to him, Peyton, you need to fail forward. And he was like, what? That is so dumb. What do you even mean? And we just talked about it, and then he realized, and he was like, oh, I get it. So whatever your failure is, or your hardship, or whatever happened today or this month or this week, just keep swimming, fail forward, pick yourself up, and move on. So I hope that encourages somebody. With that, I want to remind you that I'm going to email you with a link to a resources page that will have this presentation, the slides. It will have the recording, a link to the SWOT analysis, the SMART goals document, all sorts of other things. I have a long list here of things that we're going to include on that resources page. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that at Shop Marketing Pros, that's what we do. We do your marketing for you, and we're very proud that your marketing doesn't look like everybody else's marketing. We spend a lot of time with you up front in the very beginning to get to know you on what we call our kickoff call. So whichever one of our teammates is working, if you're doing digital ads, Danny's going to be on that kickoff call. If we're building a website, that's going to be Tony, our art director, so on and so forth. And we really spend a lot of time getting to know you, your goals, your customers, your story of how you got started. So from there, we're able to really focus on your marketing message and helping your customers know that you are there to solve their problems and help them. So I'm going to take a quick peek here again at the chat, if I can get it to come up. Where'd my little window go? And see if there's any questions that I did not answer. I also want to tell you that Mary and I have been chatting while I'm teaching. Talk about multitasking. Very shocked that I was able to do that, but I was able to do that. I'm going to stop sharing this now and look over here. But we are messaging about some possible new classes that we're going to work on together that will be coming to you. So if there's something that you are struggling with regard to your marketing, and you really want a class, if there's something in particular that I talked about tonight, you're like, I really need a class on that, I really need a class on that. My email is kim@shopmarketingpros.com, but you're going to get an email from me, so you'll have my email. Reach out to either Mary or to myself and say, I'd love a class on this topic, but I will create that class and come back to you all and offer that up to you. But Mary and I are going to be talking and come back to you with some additional classes here in the near future. And I don't know how to say your name, Orestes?
Orestes.
Or yeah. So
Orestes.
I got your email address, so I will talk to my team about the question that you had, and I'll email you. I'm writing it down right now, and so you can look forward to that in the next day or two. Let's see if there's any other questions here that I'm missing. I know some sent some to me privately as well.
Oh, private messages. What's up with that?
It's all secret.
Must have been from Bren.
Actually, I'm wrong. It's Mary, and then I told him to message me his email address, so he messaged me.
Okay.
Privately.
Mary has all that info too. So
Yeah.
you, hopefully you share all your information with Mary. She can shoot it out on our constant contact stuff.
Yep, absolutely. And my team's already working on this resources page. So Mary's recording this session. So when it takes like 40 minutes for it to download to your computer, she'll send me that in the email list. So I'll email everybody all this information. And yeah, so I just want to just thank y'all for having me tonight. I hope that this was helpful. I would love your feedback. If you hated it, if you loved it, look, you know how important reviews are in your shop. They're just as important to us in our business. So if you loved it, go write a review on our Shop Marketing Pros Facebook page. If
There you
you
go.
hated it, send me a private message.
Always ask for reviews, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. It was great information, Kim, and thanks for doing this for us. And
Yes.
hopefully, ASA Florida and Shop Marketing Pros can work together and benefit both of us.
Yep, absolutely. We're happy to do that.
Well, Kim, I have my text phone number. Anyone can call or text that number.
I
So
think Don has a question, right? Don just chimed in. Looks like he has a question. Huh? I think we woke him up.
well, anyone can text that number, that 772 number that's up there instead of my photo. And if you have any classes that you want to see further out of it, what your ideas are, if you have any further questions.
So I got one question for Kim. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mary.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
I don't care. Kim, as far as in-person training, have you seen any of that come back yet? Have you done any conventions, any meetings, or is it all virtual?
Yeah, but it's still all virtual. I think that I had 5 conferences canceled this year that I was going to be speaking at. There's a big virtual conference being planned for January. So no, and usually I have a couple on my calendar already for the next year. For in-person, I don't. Like at this time of the year, I would already have that, but
Yeah, hopefully we get through this and pencil in November 2021 for Daytona, because ASA Florida's got something going on there.
oh, cool. In person?
In person.
In person at the track.
2021.
2021. Yeah.
Oh, Mary, send me info if I'm invited. Any
just-
reason?
I just invited you.
It's
Of course,
Gary has that
of
authority.
course, I don't have any power anymore, but
Yes, you do.
talk to Brent. He'll let you know.
Just so you know, and just so everybody else knows, our newest addition here, and I wouldn't say new, Bryn's been around for a little bit, but Bryn is our new ASA Florida president.
They backed me in a corner. Condolences, really, but no, I'm very proud to be a part of ASA, the company I keep, and my love for my industry is kind of what made me say yes. But thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Kim, so much for sharing wonderful information with us. We look forward to working together again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. And we'll chat tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Well, I told you I'd let you off in time for the debate, and I held to my word. So y'all have a good night. Hang in there.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Good night,
Guess you-
everyone.
Guess I haven't told you lately. I love you guys.
We love you. too.